Hello, folks. This is Greg Gilbert, host of Python's Paradise, co-producer on 13 Fanboy and Victim No More, and among other things. But I'm not here to talk about that, because we are doing a film review series here. We're in 1996. Yeah, the year I turned 24. That's when I officially started film criticism. And here we are in May 1996, and I'm going to be talking about five films. The five films that roused my interest the most, and we'll check out what my thoughts are towards that. And of course, you know, we got a score between A plus, and F. You know, if you get an A in the A zone, you're generally an excellent film. If you're in the B zone, good film, but you have some issues, you know. If you're in the C grade, diehard fans of actors, genre, what have you. D zone, you're in trouble. Generally, you're shit or close to it. And F is pretty much self-explanatory. The five films I wish to cover on here are, for May 1996, we have I Shot Andy Warhol, Barbwire, The Craft, Spy Hard, and Welcome to the Dollhouse. Now, in looking at those films, out of all of them, I only saw one of them in our theaters, and that's Spy Hard. That was it. We got The Craft here, but for whatever reason, I did not see it. I don't recall us getting Barbwire. We definitely didn't get I Shot Andy Warhol or Welcome to the Dollhouse. And probably because, well, you'll hear about my ratings. But anyway, they probably played at the Film Society downtown, but I wasn't going to that regularly at that time, although I was certainly introduced to it later in the year. But we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. I picked five films out of the month, and because they're usually the five films that I was most interested to see, and what my end thoughts are on those films. We're going to start at the bottom, and of course, out of those five at the bottom is Barbwire. Now, why was anybody interested in Barbwire? Well, Pamela Anderson, and Pamela Anderson half naked. She tantalized the hormones of many a male after, you know, becoming a big hit on Baywatch. Beautiful woman. The problem is, Barbwire was not a beautiful film. And it did little to help her image, you know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being sexy and appealing, you know, but it can get to the point where it can be a joke. And unfortunately for Pamela Anderson, Barbwire did her no favors. It didn't do any favors for any of these Go Women Go groups out there either, you know. She did not come out looking like Sigourney Weaver in Alien or Linda Hamilton, the Terminator, in this. She came out just the opposite. And the problem is, you know, is you got her going into these situations where she's committing a task or committing a rescue. And she throws out these stupid lines, like these I don't give a shit lines, and they sound phony. And with all the chaos going around her, we don't have any impressions of any real danger going on. You know, you can say that about Stallone and Schwarzenegger, but to some degree, at least, they present that element of danger. I was not getting it here. The direction was bad. She did not hold her own as an action star, which is probably why you didn't see her do that much afterwards. Barbwire was a joke. And it would not be the only time this year you got a scantily clad female in a starring role in a movie that didn't work. Did the opposite what they said. But I'm one of these, like, look, I'm a straight male with hormones. Of course, Pamela Anderson and Barbwire is going to appeal to me. But it does not mean the film is going to work for me. And Barbwire definitely did not. It gets a D-. Very amateur action film. At best or worse. Either way, that film snagged on its own barbed wire and never got away from its own ego. So a D-, don't see it. Now, moving up next is a film that it was a film I was looking forward the most in May 1996. And it's so sad when you look forward to a movie and you come out of a theater and you just hang your head in disappointment because the experience was not what you were hoping it would be. And that is the case of what I had when I saw Spy Hard, which is the only one of these 5 films that I saw in a theater. I actually saw it as a double bill at our old Twin Cinemas with Brain Candy. Brain Candy turned out to be an absolute surprise when it dealt with the themes of depression. I thought Brain Candy was terrific. I wanted to like Spy Hard. I'm a big fan of Leslie Nielsen. I think he's one of the funniest guys who ever lived. His deadpan delivery is fantastic. But Spy Hard is not Airplane or any of the 3 Naked Gun movies, all of which I like. I can't fault Leslie Nielsen. I mean, it's making fun. It's a parody of James Bond film. I mean, you got an opening, instead of a sexy female singing a Bond theme, you got Weird Al Yankovic singing the theme. Oh, okay, I thought that was kind of funny. Leslie Nielsen plays Agent WD-40, which, again, I got a chuckle out of that, you know, because of course that's what he's going to play. Leslie Nielsen is basically treading ground that he's done before, but I can't be mad at that because Leslie Nielsen, even at his worst, he's going to get a chuckle out of you. So with that said, he got me through Spy Hard okay, you know. He's funny, and you got a nice reference to the A-Team at the beginning of it with Mr. T. You got Charles Durning playing his contact, who kind of camouflages into everything. And you get Andy Griffith playing the villain of the film who has mechanical arms because his arms got blown off, you know. Nicolette Sheridan plays the Bond girl, so to speak, and she is very lifeless in the film. It's not really her fault. It's just she wasn't required to do anything. Again, I wanted to like this film. You got a lot of references to other films. Some of them are just kind of tacked in there. Like, I thought the parody section with Speed, with Ray Charles driving the bus, was, you know, kind of funny, you know. That was in this one, was it? Or was that Wrongfully Accused? You see, they're all starting to run together now. If I got the wrong movie, there you go. I'm very familiar with Airplane and the Naked Gun films because I've watched them a lot more than I have Spy Hard. Why? Because they were better written narratives that elevated with the jokes. Spy Hard was just a joke. I love the title, Spy Hard, take on Die Hard. And the potential is there. And it just didn't surface. I wanted to like this movie. And unfortunately, I did not. It's better than Barbwire. That doesn't take a whole lot. I mean, even solving a plot by total accident like WD-40 does here. Well, coming in ahead of Barbwire is not a big feat for this film. But in the end, its disappointment leaves me giving this film a D+. It's better than Barbwire. But boy, I wish it could have been better. I wish it could have been. I wanted to like it more than I did. I'm not denying I had a few chuckles at it, but if I want more laughs, I'll watch Airplane or any of the 3 Naked Gun movies. Spy Hard didn't spy hard enough for a script worth its effort. Now, next up on the list is The Craft. We did get that in our theaters, and I don't know why I didn't see it. I saw it later when it was out on rentals, and I watched it. And I think I had an issue with the witchcraft part of it because I come from a Christian background, and I do read my Bible, and I believe my Bible. But then I kind of got thinking to myself, yeah, I got Rosemary's Baby on Blu-ray, and I have no issues with that film. What's my issue with The Craft? Well, I think part of it, is they're playing around with this. Young people are impressionable. So when you got films that treat witchcraft lightheartedly, because, I mean, people, I'm not even just saying witchcraft. You could be drugs, alcohol, what have you, cigarettes. Generally, when young, impressionable minds get locked into that stuff, and they can't drag their asses out of it, and it affects them in an extremely negative ways. I'm not saying that that's everybody's conclusion, but when I look at The Craft, I'm like, they're treating this subject with very soft hands. That's not to say this is a negative, though, because The Craft has a lot going for it. It's basically a teen witch movie. I like high school movies. And this one here, you got your new arrival in school. It's like Mean Girls with magic. You got your new arrival. And the new arrival is stuck in a situation where she gets caught in with the popular girls. The popular girls are witches. And I guess they need another witch, and they get together and they do their seance and they wreak havoc on their enemies. And there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of consequences to this, not from what I can tell. But it sounds like I'm being overly negative, and to be quite frank, there's a lot to enjoy in this movie. The visual effects are fine. The characters are quite good. All the girls have their elements at work. You get Fairuza Balk in it, playing a bitch. But we like her. You got Neve Campbell, just months before she's in Scream. Yeah, she screams in this. You got Christine Taylor, Marcia from the Brady Bunch movie, losing her hair in it. Kind of didn't want that to happen to her. She is stunning. And why am I blanking on the lead girl's name? And it's on the tip of my tongue, too. Because she was in that shitty Supernova movie. I'm blanking on her. Because she was really good in The Craft. But you know what? I got to give The Craft a B+. Because because despite any issues I have with some of the spirituality parts of it, the movie is fun. And if you're into horror films and you want to introduce a young audience to it, The Craft is one of those ways you can do it. I kind of deal with that movie with kid gloves, but that's just me. Call me paranoid. I do like the film, though. Is it Scream? No. But it is fun. It's better than Spy Hard. It's definitely better than Barbwire. Now, if they had been in the Barbwire plot, it might have been a better movie. Even if they were still witches. There you go. Boy, that girl's name is going to forget. It's going to bother me. I'm fucking up her name. Okay. She was good in the movie, the lead. Anyway, then we got two more movies to talk about. There were two movies that we didn't get in our theaters, and it's unfortunate because they're both fantastic. When I say both fantastic, they both get an A+ from me. So, let me see how I'm going to go about this. This really comes down to which film I personally like better to be top this list. So I think I'll talk about I Shot Andy Warhol first. You know, it's an A+. It really locks you into the 60s and deal with this whole hippie rebellion against the Vietnam War kind of setting that was in and around then, and plus especially around the art world, so to speak. And it's based on a true story. I don't know how much facts they got right, because I don't know anything about the true account. But Lily Taylor is top-notch in this film. She plays a writer who, for the most part, pretty much lives on the street. I mean, she's in and out of a building, but she pretty much comes and goes, spouts her nonsense. She prostitutes herself, but she does a lot of writing, and her dream is to get her play produced by Andy Warhol. And she does infiltrate that group of his, and he seems to accept her. The problem is she does something that I've been guilty of many times in my life, overthinking things. And she overthinks things to the extreme that Andy Warhol starts questioning her sanity, and his circle of friends and acquaintances and colleagues question her as well, to the point where she makes a lot of scenes due to outbursts. And you see the end of the movie at the beginning and the end, and you see what happens with this character and how she got there. But the strength of the movie is Lily Taylor, who knocks it out of the park, as I said before, playing this totally unhinged woman who desperately wants to belong in the circle for which she is most interested in, the art scene. I Shot Andy Warhol gets an A+, one of the best films of the year. Now, the last film I'm going to talk about is also an A+, but I'm talking about it last because I think I can relate to it so well, and that is Welcome to the Dollhouse. Wow. And again, my apologies, because I'm just sitting here. I don't have the info in front of me. I got the Blu-ray home, and I don't have it in front of me, so I do not have the lead actress's name right in front of me. I know she was in The Princess Diaries and Hostel 2, but to me, she's always going to be this movie, you know? She plays a girl that I can totally relate to. She's an outsider in her own family. Her little sister is highly praised, can do nothing wrong. Her brother, who's a musician, he brings in all these bandmates and whatnot. She tries to connect with one of them, but it doesn't matter who she tries to connect with. She becomes an outsider. Her mom wants her to tear down her clubhouse so that they can have a wedding anniversary for her dad and herself. Everything hinges upon her making sacrifices to benefit everybody else. And she is trying desperately to hold things together, yet she longs to be accepted. There's some sad moments in this film, like where the kid sister gets kidnapped. And boy, she goes out of her way, taking her bike one night to go out in the street with pictures to try to find her sister. Nobody knows she's gone. Nobody cares. I felt bad about that. They're just concerned about everybody else. She tells her dad, who's suffering from an illness due to all the stress. And he makes a comment that alludes to little sister being the favorite or something of that nature. This girl only wants to be accepted. Nobody knew she was gone. She sits at a table. She's getting tired. She rebels. She doesn't get to have any dessert, but she has to sit there while everybody else eats their dessert in front of her. There were times where I was like, you know what? Get up and walk out of there because this family is not worth you. She goes to school and she is sexually harassed by her bully, who is a male, who himself has an abusive home life, which is interesting. He says stuff to her that is just cringy. But it doesn't matter where she goes with it. She gets in trouble. They shoot spitballs at her. She shoots back with the spitball and ends up hitting one of the teachers. So, of course, she gets in trouble. Welcome to the Dollhouse, folks. Welcome to life as a teenager, trying to fit in, trying to find love and acceptance and friendship, and trying to move into adulthood with her sanity. But it looks like she's going to have to venture into adulthood by herself. I'm not going to give away the ending of the film, but boy, that last shot that lingers on her, I'm like, you know what? You might as well go with the fucking flow. Even if nobody recognizes you, nobody notices you. You tried. The best you could do, get through elementary, get through junior high, get through high school, go to college if you must, get a job, get the fuck out of that circumstance. But don't kill yourself. Build a new dollhouse, one that is for you, and you only. The only thing I come to think about when looking at this film is that this is one of God's creatures. Loves this girl, but everybody around her treats her like the wrapper off a chocolate bar. But remember, the wrapper's the colorful part. It's what draws you to it. And this girl is a butterfly, not larvae. I can't remember off the top of my head the actress that plays her. I'm sorry, folks, I just don't have it in front of me. But boy, she was fantastic. And I gotta say, this movie is the best of me. That and I Shot Andy Warhol, the two best. An A+ for both. Check out The Craft if you're a big teen horror fan. But Spy Hard, you need to spy harder to find a better comedy. I recommend Airplane or the Naked Gun trilogy. Barbwire, wrap it in barbed wire. Make sure you seal it so that nobody sees it again. Check out I Shot Andy Warhol. Welcome to the Dollhouse. Peace out. I'll see you in June 1996.